explanation as to whether it was adulterated, whether it was fingered, whether something happened to it. But we know that it has been put to use, and Nigerians, I can tell you, Nigerians are really confused. They don't even know what is going on.
Yeah.
So, welcome to the show. My name is Prince Chilaka, and I'm with
Dili Utomi. This is 90.3 FM, Voice of the People Radio, the Maritime and Border Show.
All right, so we're going to go straight. As usual, we know we always have a guest, but we're not ready to tell you who our guest is. Our guest is somebody who is well informed within the industry, but as we proceed, you will get to know. He will be joining us in our news bulletin.
Review of the events that happen in the week.
We're going to start off with our news. Federal government policy on imported food items reduces inflation rate, says the customs boss, CG Adeni. The Nigerian Customs Service says the federal government's policy on suspension of custom duty on imported food items has recorded successive reduction in inflation rates. The Comptroller General Adewale Adeni said this on Friday at the Iftar Breaking of Fasting Meal Service Program organized by Al Habiba Islamic Society in Abuja. The program aims to serve meals to both fasting and non-fasting Nigerians during this year's holy month of Ramadan. Adeni recalled that a few months ago, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu introduced a policy to curb inflation, driven largely by high fuel and food costs. Among the policies that the President directed us to implement at that time was the suspension of customs duty on imported food items for a period of 6 months. It was a policy that I was really excited to implement. In implementing this policy, alongside other government policies, we were able to tame inflation that year. 2 quarters after that, we were able to record successive reductions in the inflation rates, and that was why our economy did not go into recession, he said. The customs boss encouraged members of the Food Basket Committee, including women who have been cooking, to redouble their efforts to sustain the project. I'm just hearing about this committee for the first time, the committee that is called Food Basket Committee. I'm just hearing it for the first time. But, in as much as this whole idea about government saying that duty-free for imported goods and all of that, I recall that on this show, when that policy was put forward, we kept asking who has benefited, where are the organizations, where are the importers, where are the clearing agents. Till date, nobody has come forward to say, I am a beneficiary or I am an importer of government for foods without duty. But be that as it may, I keep asking myself, how did we get to this level as a nation where people have to be fed? We now turn a private fasting issue to a national issue. And it's worrisome because it is not the food that the people want. People want production, people want employment. But when government decides not to give that, you begin to question the intention of the government towards the people.
You asked some salient questions here. Fortunately, our guest for today is also a freight forwarder who answers some of those questions in terms of maybe benefiting from those things you talked about, not paying the necessary tariff for on imported food items. Well, on the question of whether it is right for government to start giving food, to people, what the people want, like you said, is opportunities. Let there be opportunities, equal opportunities for every Nigerian to be able to fend for himself, take care of his economic and monetary needs, so that he will be able to, shoulder the responsibility over himself and his family or people around him. This idea of gathering people and giving them food, maybe on the excuse that maybe it's a religious period or so palliative or anything, whatever name you want to give to it, it's like it's to me I call it tokenism. It's not what should be done. A responsible government should create equal opportunities for Nigerians to make to make use of the opportunities to make life better
Really,
for themselves.
It sounds very funny that when Nigerians cry that we don't have good roads, the government gives you rice. You say, oh, we don't have electricity, they give you rice. You say you don't have employment, they give you rice.
It's called rice economics.
I really don't understand what's going on. But then, sir, can you join in on this? What's your take?
No, you've not introduced him.
No. I said I'm not going to introduce him yet. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, sir. No. We are keeping him for the main dish. Yes.
You're keeping the audience in suspense.
Us. Yes, let's... Go ahead, sir. What do you think about this whole thing about giving out food and,
Well, people are hungry, and the government understands that people are hungry. I want to also believe the government has a lot of experts, a lot of professionals when it comes to food production, food sufficiency for the country. People who have read far and wide outside Nigeria, the best institutions of the world. Don't tell me we don't have fertile lands. Don't tell me we don't have agriculturists, people who can help the country to produce food. But why don't we have sufficiency in food? Why should there be food shortages? But if the government decides that the best way to go around it is by handing people some quantities of food when they cry for something, I mean, that should be a matter of strategy for this government. So, but I think, and I know the government can actually do better if they want to. It's about the will to do the right thing.
So, as a freight forwarder, sir, we heard about this whole thing about import-free duty for food. I mean, did you benefit from it? Have you seen anyone who benefited from it?
Yeah, when that policy was churned out last year, I was supposed to be for 6 months. I read through that policy document, and I discovered that there were so many stringent conditions attached to that policy.
Oh.
Yeah, so for you to, it wasn't really open for everybody.
Okay.
It was meant to be for some categories of
importers.
You must have food processing plant or factory or something in Nigeria.
Okay.
You must be a very big
manufacturer,
food manufacturer.
Oh.
And then you must be registered with MAN. You must have a certain turnover. You must have certain volumes and all that. So it's actually for the big industries, the food and the food chain. So to the extent that they benefited,
you wouldn't know.
That needs to be measured.
Okay. All right. Moving on. Other things that made the news in the course of the week. The maritime sector undergoing sweeping transformation with port modernization, national single window, others. Nigeria's maritime sector, the gateway through which over 80% of the nation's international trade flows, is undergoing a sweeping transformation, which is being midwifed by the Managing Director of the Nigerian Ports Authority, Dr. Abubakar Dansoho. Anchored on port modernization, digital trade facilitation, and institutional reform, the new maritime policy direction is designed to reposition Nigeria's seaports as competitive hubs within the global shipping ecosystem. Last week, the Nigerian Ports Authority released its 2025 report showing that the nation's maritime sector recorded a historic surge in activity driven by increased cargo throughput, rising container traffic, and a growing export footprint, a development that underscores the federal government's commitment to economic diversification. The 2025 Operational Performance Report released by the NPA revealed that total cargo throughput surged by 24.8%, rising from approximately 103.6 million metric tons in 2024 to over 129.3 million metric tons in 2025. The Managing Director of the Nigerian Ports Authority, Dr. Abubakar Dansoho, described the growth as one of the most significant annual increases in Nigeria's maritime history, noting that the milestone strengthens the country's position as a more competitive and strategic player in the regional and global trade. The outstanding performance did not just happen overnight, it is as a result of the transformative reforms of the federal government. For decades, the nation's ports struggled with a lot of constraints. However, President Bola Tinubu is reversing the trend through an ambitious reform program driven by the Ministry of Marine and the Blue Economy and implemented largely by the Nigerian Ports Authority. So, what do you think about this? This figure being shown about, the performance of the Nigerian ports system within the last 2 years. It says here that 103.6 million metric tons of cargo throughput was handled in 2024, and against the 129.3 million metric tons handled in 2025, showing that there's about 24.8% increase in activities. Is it as a sign of economic growth, or is it a sign of slow growth, or is it a sign of retardation? What do you think, sir?
When the source of information says this is what it is, this is the figure, this is statistics, unless you have an independent, inquiry or verification system, you would
accept it the way it is.
Say that to accept it. After all, if you are conducting a research and you want to get cargo throughput in Nigeria, it is the NPA you
of
put
course.
in your thesis as a source of information.
Yeah.
So when they're saying this is what we
It
have,
is.
you want to work with it. You have to believe them. So, but I also know as a practitioner that we're having congestion, so to say, this period. For some time now, there's this congestion. Although
Congestion, is it in traffic, or is it in cargos within the port?
Yes,
Okay.
within the port, we've had congestion, and although for me, my own analysis narrowed it down to reason we have some exports, because at times the terminal handling companies themselves, they don't help matters. If we have vessels that arrive and these vessels are not quickly discharged, perhaps they're trying to create space to take export cargoes that have been lying on the queue for some weeks. So they stop attending to imported cargoes and attending to exported cargoes. For that few period, there will be congestion. Trucks can move in, trucks can come out, or at a very slow pace, and that creates congestion. But if NPA is now telling them that we have increased throughput, that should also reflect in the revenue collection by the customs. That will reflect in the income of the terminal handling company themselves. That should reflect in every other aspect of the business. I don't know if importation has increased this time, because
unfortunately this report didn't say where the total cargo. This is a total cargo throughput, whether that's which is export and which is import.
That's what I'm saying. Whether it's export or it's import, so people are making business is going on. So customs, for instance, are collecting their revenue. So we need to also check the reports and the revenue posted by the customs if they have reported increment.
Actually,
in collection at this time. So when we have all these matched together, then
the recent report released by the Nigerian Customs Service says that they made about 7.02 trillion naira in 2025, as against the 6 trillion naira made in 2024.
Say that again.
7.02 trillion naira. That's 7 trillion 200 million naira in 2025, as against 6.1 trillion naira in 2024. So that's about 1.1 trillion naira, 1.01 trillion naira
increase.
Yeah, increase. Yeah,
increase. So that means that there's actually increment in throughput, because I also know that when the current MD of NPA took over the month of this year, when we visited him, one of the things he said to us that was of major concern to him was the declining throughput in Nigeria.
Yeah,
and he mentioned that clearly, and it was one of the things he was going to tackle, because we had cargoes being moved to neighboring countries.
Yeah.
Okay, and he aligned and articulated some of the issues that made people to move to neighboring countries. And Nigeria is actually supposed to be the hub for trading in West Africa.
Especially now that we have a more efficient port in place.
Exactly.
The Lekki Deep Sea port.
Yeah, so for that reason, they started putting up some measures. So it could be true. It should be true. We should believe.
Again, too, I saw a figure released by
Go ahead.
okay, I also saw a figure released by the MPA saying that I think they made about 824 billion this year, as against about 720 something billion they made in 2024. So if you say if this figure, I think, can be justified using those
Exactly. So when we use those
revenue
parameters,
figures, yeah.
exactly. So when we use those parameters to put together the information they've shown us, I think we should give kudos to the MD and the current leadership of MPA.
All right.
All right.
For me, it's a good development, but I still think that the Nigerian Ports Authority need to do more, because I believe that if they decentralize the ports, we seem to be concentrating more the ports in Lagos, so to say, rather than looking at opening other ports outside Lagos. If they do that and they do it consciously and do it with so much zeal like they're putting in Lagos, I'm sure that this whole thing we're talking about, the rates will go up. All right. CMA CGM slams $600 surcharge on China-Nigerian shipments. Global shipping giant CMA CGM has announced a $600 peak season surcharge on container shipments from China to Nigeria and other ports across the South Range region, a move that could drive up import costs along one of Africa's busiest trade corridors. The French carrier said the surcharge takes effect from 15th of March 2026 and will remain in place until further notice, describing the measure as necessary to maintain reliable and efficient shipping services during the peak season. The charge applies to all containers measured in 20 feet equivalent units, TEUs, under short-term arrangements covering freight all kinds, FAC, cargo, spot bookings, and both monthly and quarterly contracts. Beyond Nigeria, the surcharge intends to extend to Angola, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Namibia, Gabon, and Cameroon, a cluster of import-dependent economies where higher freight costs can ripple quickly into retail prices. According to data from China's National Bureau of Statistics, Chinese exports to Nigeria climbed from 18.1 billion in 2024 to 24.9 billion in 2025, cementing China's position as Nigeria's largest import source. CMA-CGM warned that the peak season surcharge is separate from existing charges, including bunker-related fees, terminal handling charges at origin and destination ports, and safety and security levies. When people begin to talk about this kind of charges, the first thing that comes to mind is, what is the Nigerian Shippers Council doing about this? Because if you begin to talk about this, already you're going to increase the cost of the goods, you're going to increase the burden on the Nigerian people. And then I keep asking, when they say peak season, it's like a funny way of trying to also rip off the Nigerian people, because they're not putting anything new on ground. They're not. It's not like they're going to build new terminal. They're going to bring in new equipment. Nothing. So why would the Nigerian government, looking at the Shippers Council, who is supposed to be the regulator, allow such to happen? Dilly.
Oh well, looking at this, I would have thought that price increases will be influenced by what is happening in the Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz in the Middle East. The ships not being able to move cargoes from there to here. But we're not talking about oil here now. We are talking about goods moving from China to Nigeria, and vessels don't pass through the Gulf of the Persian Gulf to come to Nigeria. They come straight to Nigeria through the Pacific and then Atlantic Ocean. So I wonder why the $600 surcharge by CMA CGM I really do not understand. And there, of course, we have the economic regulator in the country who should also be asking questions. And I don't know. It doesn't make sense. There's all manner of charge increases all over the place, even before the war that started in the Middle East started. And they seem to be getting away with murder these days. Arbitrarily, they increase prices the way they like, and the economic regulator is not. Is maybe rather than talk about it or sanction them, they are clapping for them. They are
they just keep
throwing freight forwarders and the people to
go and negotiate.
Dogs and say go and negotiate, go and speak with these people. Chief, you're a practitioner within the system. How is this going to pan out? How is it going to affect businesses? $600 increase on
The first question is, what do they mean by peak season? What has that got to do on their own cost of production? So what are the real things driving up the cost? Like you said, I heard some saying the bunkering charges, has that affected them? Now, these are private businesses, don't forget.
Yeah.
Nobody's saying you do not have
To
the
make
powers
profit.
to, you make your charges the way you like. But if it's coming from just one shipping line, there are so many shipping lines, it's easier for our regulator to say, look, you must do what others are doing. After all, you're not the only one lifting from China. Because that is why we all participated in fighting for the Nigerian Shippers Council to become the economic regulators. But have they succeeded in doing that? To whose interest is another thing. Because I know even when the terminal companies like APMT, for instance, or even not all of them put together, when they last year, or was it last year, when they increased by almost 800%, we stood against that, seriously stood against that, and after much negotiations and pressure, the Shippers Council advised that we should, with the other interventions, nothing much could happen. That they brought it, they now had an increment of about 400% in one swoop, of which they have increased again silently about last month.
January, yeah.
Yes, January. They made another increment, which was not even pronounced. Silently introduced that, and everybody's cool doing that. So the Shippers Council needs to rise up. They need to speak. They need to understand why this should happen. If they're saying it is based on what's going on, the war going on, Iran, Israel,
in the Middle East,
US war, yeah, we should be able to understand that, and then we'll monitor the situation so that when the war is de-escalated, then it goes down. But they have not mentioned that as a reason.
No.
They say it is peak season, meaning, in my own understanding, when they're having much more business.
Business to
So
handle.
when you're having more quantity, are you not supposed to even reduce price?
Reduce the price.
Because the simple law of economics, we
Exactly.
already understand that the more the quantity, the lower the price.
Yeah.
But they are doing the more the business, the higher the price. So I don't know where they're coming
Doesn't
from.
make economic sense.
I don't know where they're coming from. So we call on the Nigerian Shippers Council to, talk to them and understand exactly what's going on, especially if other shipping lines have not made such references.
All right. Moving on. DCG Dera Nadi bows out in Grand Pulling Out Parade. The Nigerian Customs Service honored the retiring Deputy Controller General, Strategic Research and Policy (SR&P), DCG Dera Nadi MNI, with a colorful pulling out parade at the NCS Command and Staff Training College, Gwagwalada, Abuja. It was a unique celebration to reward his decades of dedicated service, leadership, and contributions to customs administration and trade facilitation in Nigeria. Well, we wish DCG Dera Ansel Nadi happy 60th birthday and happy retirement. He has been pulled out from the Nigerian Customs Service, and we wish him the very best of luck in his future endeavors.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think for those who don't know, Dera Nadi, he used to be the CAC at Tinkan. From there, he got promoted to ACG.
He was also CAC at SME.
Yes, and from ACG, he became the DCG. We wish him all the best. Like I always say, when you pull out of the system, you now begin to realize that there's a big line between being in the service and being, outside the service. But we wish him all the best.
Chief, you have something to say?
Yeah, this CJ Nadi is a personal friend and an enforcement czar, they used to call him. I've known him since he was an assistant controller. Before then, when he was, you should know him more as DC
PRO.
enforcement and the PRO. So he is everywhere. Enforcement, the public relation, administration. He's a man that has contributed so much to the Nigerian Customs Service. Don't forget, he led the team that developed the time release study.
Yes.
While as a CSC
I think.
Before then, he was DC enforcement for a long time.
Yeah.
And before he became CS, he went to Seme. Did some of his enforcement practices and style. So, he's research man, fantastic officer, and we thank God for the contributions he's made.
Yeah, he's left his mark.
History of Nigerian Council will be kind to him for all his contributions. Congratulations to him for a peaceful and colorful completion of service.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Nigeria slams defense minister over security claims accused of playing politics. Nigeria's Defense Minister General Christopher Musa has sought to reassure citizens following a high-level security meeting with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Musa dismissed what he described as slanted reports in the media, insisting that terrorists and bandits are suffering heavy losses. Their commanders are being killed every day. We are sure of victory, he declared. But his comments have led to a wave of reactions online, with many Nigerians questioning the government's approach to the insurgents and the credibility of its claim, and stressing government was playing politics with the lives of Nigerian and the Nigerian soldiers. When we talk about the insurgents that is happening in Nigeria, people will say, why are you bringing it into the maritime industry? But they forget that our farmers are no longer going to the farms. And I find it very, very distasteful that a minister of defense would now begin to compete with
the media on narratives.
You're like saying, we have killed their commanders. It's not something Nigerians want to hear, because on a daily basis, Nigerians are being killed, Nigerians
kidnapped,
are being tortured,
taken for ransom.
Yes. So we expect that you're telling us, there are 20 camps in Nigeria, we have decimated 30, or we have decimated 15. Nigerians living in IDP camp, we have relocated them back to their ancestral homes. This is what Nigerians want to hear, not telling us how you are killing their leaders, and yet you're killing their leaders, they're killing your men.
Multiplying in numbers.
So I think that is where Nigerians are coming from. And I expect that the Minister of Defense should please not take the love of Nigerians for granted.
Yes. I think it's also speaks on the attempt by the government to control every narrative. You are not doing what you're supposed to do by decimating the camps of these criminals, hiding somewhere, either in the bushes or within some towns or villages. But you don't want Nigerians to talk about it. You want to control the media about what they publish about
what we hear, what we say.
It doesn't make sense. In my place, they say you can't beat a child and ask him not to cry. Okay, you have not performed your duty. Let us talk about what is happening to us. If you kill one or two of these, the commanders of these people who are daily torturing us mentally, physically, emotionally, economically, then if it's just killing one commander or two that is important to you, and not really wiping them off the face of the earth, because truly they are a bunch of nuisance to Nigerians. They are not doing us any good. So let them do their duty of securing lives and property within the country, and forget about controlling the narratives in the media. That's my own opinion about that.
You want to say something, sir?
The most important and the very first job of government is to protect the lives and properties of our citizens. There is nothing more important than this for government. That is the number one business. Whether that is being done or not, it's not something anybody can whisk away by media or by speeches.
Yeah.
It's something that people feel. It's something that everybody knows. You don't have to go to school to be able to tell about it. Insecurity in Nigeria is measurable. It's something people feel.
It's reality.
It's real.
It's real.
So it's not about the north or south or east or west. It's about what's going on. It didn't start today, by the way.
No.
It's not about this government. It's about the country called Nigeria. So I think it's time that we take insecurity seriously. We must not use insecurity as a tool for politics, play with people's lives, give narratives, and people are dying. That's wrong. It's not why we elected any leadership, whether it is current leadership or past leadership. Nigerians should feel safe in their country.
Everywhere.
Nigerians should be fine. Nigerians should go their businesses without being afraid that someone will molest them, someone will kidnap them, someone will ram into them on the road. Some people no longer use road because they're afraid the vehicle will be attacked on the way. They fly, even when they don't want to fly. You understand? So Nigerian government needs to be very, very serious about insecurity because this is number one business that they have for us as Nigerians.
Sorry, sir. I read something yesterday about a man who was so unfortunate. About 3 years ago, his two wives in the north, he lives in Katsina, was born there. He's a lecturer at the university at one of the colleges in Katsina. His two wives were kidnapped. He paid 10 million naira ransom to release them. 2 years later, his daughter and some other children were kidnapped. He paid about 3 million naira to release them. His own personal money, sourcing money. Now, recently, he was kidnapped himself with one of his daughters, and he had to relocate from where he was living into the places where masses stay so that they won't have access to him again. I mean, in the midst of the masses. But because he teaches, he goes to school to teach. When they got him on the way again, on the way to the university where he teaches, or the higher institution where he teaches, and then they kidnapped him again with two of his children, a daughter and a son. They asked for ransom. They went to pay them the 3 million naira, but still they killed the man and released the children. I mean, what would that kind of person or the family of that man think about the security situation in Nigeria, or what the chief of army staff or chief of the minister of defense is talking about decimating the ranks of the bandits? Whatever he says would not make any meaning to them because they feel it really. I mean, the insecurity is there for them to see. So,
I think this ransom theme paying insecurity has become
a full-time
it's become
business.
an industry.
Yeah.
So it's something the defense minister and others working within. They should really need to dismantle that industry for everybody to be fine. I mean, in the balance of some people, they will say Nigeria has happened to him.
He did.
Yeah,
No, but I'm more surprised.
And that's what we don't want to hear.
Exactly.
That's what we don't want.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm more shocked with the fact that the government has found it very difficult to name the financiers of this whole madness. Sheikh Gumi came out last week or so, and he said, look, the government have the names. They know the names. They know these people. They have their names. He didn't hide it. It was on air. He said the government knows these people's names. They know them. And that each time he goes to negotiate, he doesn't go alone. He goes with security personnel. So they know them. They know where they are. So the question is, why is government finding it difficult? Or why has government continued to tell Nigerians, we're looking for them, we don't know where they are, yet these guys are on TikTok. Nobody will arrest them. If I go to TikTok and say something that the government does not like, give them 2 minutes, they'll come and pick me up. Something is definitely wrong with our security architecture, and it is high time President Bola Ahmed Tinubu wakes up from that sleep and realizes that the oath of office he took, first and foremost, is protection of life and properties of the Nigerian people.
Moving on. CGC Adeni commissions Data Analytics Center, inspects cargo scanner. The Controller General of Customs, Bashir Adewale Adeni, has recently commissioned a Data Analytics Center, inspected the newly installed scanner, showcased seizures of 13 containers of expired pharmaceutical products and cannabis sativa, that's Colorado, at with the duty paid value of 6.38 billion naira at the Apapa port. Commenting during the commissioning of the facility recently at the Apapa Customs Command, CGC Adeni pointed out the role of data in modern customs administration. He said it's real currency of international business and critical tool for effective communication and cooperation among global institutions. Credible data remains the backbone of services risk management architecture, stressing that the ability to participate effectively in global trade facilitation initiatives depends largely on the availability of reliable data to support decision making and strengthen collaboration. CGC Adeni pointed out that virtually every project through information and communication technology is driven by data, revealing that programs such as the Authorized Economics Operator AEO scheme, risk indicators rely on accurate and timely information. This is another good one. An analytics center opened at the Apapa port, and again use that opportunity to display the drugs that were seized, the Colorado that were seized at the port by the officers and men of the command, was 6.38 billion naira. Week in, week out, we keep talking about issues of drugs being seized. Is it? I keep asking this question. Is it that there's not deterrent enough to deter these people from taking part in this this illegal trade? Is the law not strong enough? Is it where are the loopholes? Why is it that almost every day in our national life we keep hearing about such amount of drugs, and these are the ones that are found and seized? What about those ones that escape into the populace, into the hands of the people within the country? This is, like somebody said, there's a nexus between drugs, arms, and the violence that we are having all over the country. If you can curb the influx of these things, you can curb the level of violence and banditry we are having within the country. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but we need to work harder to get these things off.
Dilly, the interesting part of it, I think it's time we begin to apply the maximum punishment. I mean, when somebody is caught with drugs, there is no need going to court. Just execute the person.
Why not in China?
No. See, you need to understand the damage that this drug. You saw the video last week of young boys who were dressed in army camouflage and being trained by these terrorists. Maybe you do not understand what is lying ahead. If you train these children, brainwash them for the next 6 months, all you need to do is give them drugs, give them guns, give them alcohol, send them out, and they become time bombs.
Killing machines.
That's it. So for me, anybody who ventures into drug, when the person is arrested, decimate the person. And El Rufai said, he said
on which part of the law would you do?
No,
yes,
we need to make a law. That is why, and that's why I said the National Assembly has not been, living up to expectation. Drug is ruining Nigerians. The youths of this country are being ruined by drugs, and until we curb it, nothing will come out of it.
Well, I think we have enough laws to take care of all of this. Whether you decimate the person or you have the person in life imprisonment, the person is out of circulation.
Mm-hmm.
And if we have a good reformatory system like we used to have in Nigeria, the prisons were places where people are reformed and it brought back to rejoin the society, but not people at the extreme. Like we're seeing now, having some repentance, these are going back to no, that's not it.
No.
So I'm talking of people who commit
minor crimes,
they are reformed,
petty crimes,
they are brought back to society. But I think the problem is implementation of the laws. You'll be surprised if you read the current Customs Act. You would see that There are provisions for seizures. There are provisions for prosecutions. There are provisions for imprisonment. But how many times, to what extent are these extremes being applied when it comes to implementation of the law? You understand? So if these are being implemented, I'm sure it will serve as deterrent. Then again, there is desperation in the country.
Everybody wants to get rich quick.
It's the system. Being rich quick, crimes, violent crimes everywhere. And we just discussed about banditry. And there's that nexus between drugs, arms, insecurity. It's not just about bandits. What do you call those who
kidnappers?
Who kidnap people who are not necessarily connected with ISWAP and ISIS? Maybe operating in the east or in the west, in the forest of those states. What do you call those ones? So we really just need to set up. The laws are there. Let the relevant agencies have the guts to implement the laws.
Well, if you're waiting for the agencies, see, let me tell you, I believe in once. I believe there's a solution. Well, because when you talk about lifestyle, it starts from our politicians. We need to change the lifestyle of our politicians.
I agree.
Because if you don't change their lifestyle, these things will continue. And it is really, really harming this nation. It's really, I'm telling you, I go out there, I see a lot of young people, you just find them being vegetative. And all they ever think about is violence, looking for somebody to kill and all of that, So, but then...
Unfortunately, let me tell you something I've observed in Nigeria. Nigeria is a place that you are recognized by the government. You are listened to by the level of violence you command.
We'll come back to that.
If you command violence, the government brings you, negotiates with you, you become important.
You're 100% right about that.
You have voice. If you don't, and you are
the gentle talking type, the gentle behaving type, you're a mogul.
You are a soft target. You are the person the agency wants you to set example.
All right. National single window to streamline trade, not replace agencies. Fakolade. The director of the Nigerian National Single Window Project, Tola Fakolade, has clarified that the platform will integrate government agencies' processes to eliminate duplication and improve efficiency rather than replacing them. The system will ensure seamless collaboration between agencies, reflecting risk assessments and compliance requirements. Integration with existing systems, NSW will operate alongside the BOW Customs Management System, handling core customs processes and serving as a single entry portal for traders. Extensive training has been conducted for end users, including importers, exporters, and freight forwarders. Applications for import licenses, certificates, and permits will be available on launch day, March 27, 2026. I'm gonna skip this. We're not gonna make any comment on this.
We talk about it. It's part of the core of what this program is about for today. Okay. Navy destroys illegal crude oil storage site in rivers. The Nigerian Navy says it has destroyed an illegal crude oil storage site containing about 17,500 liters of suspected crude oil in the Bonny area of Rivers State. The Director of Naval Information, Captain Abiodun Florenshaw, disclosed this in a statement on Friday, noting that the operation was carried out under Operation Delta Sentinel. Florenshaw said the action followed directives by the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Idi Abbas, to intensify efforts against crude oil theft and illegal bunkering across the nation's maritime domain. He said personnel of Forward Operating Base FOB Bonny uncovered the illegal storage facility within the Upotumbi general area during surveillance operations. He explained that the discovery was made possible through the Navy's maritime surveillance technology, which detected concealed dugout pits hidden under thick vegetation in the creeks. The FOB Bonny elements moved swiftly to the site and discovered 4 dugout pits containing a cumulative 17,500 liters of products suspected to be crude oil. The recovered products were subsequently destroyed in accordance with extant operational guidelines. My man, how could you destroy 17,500 liters of crude oil just like that. You burn it. It doesn't make sense.
You're asking
That's an economic waste to start with, because it took a whole lot of money and efforts to drill the oil to bring it to the surface. Whether stolen or not, you confiscate it and you auction it, because that is still something. It's product that you can convert into so many products. It's crude oil that you convert into so many products. One, what is the essence of burning it when it can be sold? It doesn't, and it doesn't add up to me. It doesn't really add up.
Daily, consistently, the Nigerian Navy has been doing this. Even when it's a ship on the high sea, they've been doing. And I keep asking, what is
the rationale?
The rationale behind it. Why would you seize a product you believe that has been stolen? Knowing now that Nigerians are crying and shouting about the cost of petrol and diesel, what stops you from putting that in a bank and then sending it to Dangote, who seems to be the authorized
refiner
in Nigeria today, and then you refine it and then you push it out to the Nigerian people, even at a cheaper price.
Even at a cheaper rate.
So I really want to call on the federal government, and I want to call on the Nigerian Navy. Please, this idea of setting this crude oil that is seized on fire needs to stop.
There's the environmental impact factor.
Yes,
in it
it's a waste.
The environment when you do that.
It's a waste. The government needs to do something about it. I don't know the extant laws they're applying. I don't know the operational guidelines, but we need to stop being in the forefront of adding more pains and destroying things we should actually save at the end of the day.
What's your take on this, Chief?
The news ended by saying the
recovered products were subsequently destroyed in accordance with extant operational guidelines.
Destroyed in accordance with the extant laws. So, for them, they have followed the law, but that law needs to be repealed. You need to amend that law, because the crude oil is stolen belongs to who? Nigerians.
Exactly.
Recovered by who? Nigerian Navy.
Yeah.
So why would Nigerian Navy recover something that belongs to Nigeria and destroy it? It's just like customs seizing cargo and destroying it. They don't destroy, they auction.
They do.
They only destroy the ones that are harmful.
Harmful, yeah.
Like maybe drugs you mentioned earlier, or other things. But if they seize anything,
rice, they auction them.
They see anything that can be useful, they auction it and they bring back the funds into the society. So the Navy needs to learn from that. Just like, okay, when the federal government has recovered stolen funds abroad that they've written to UK or any government in the world, they should burn the funds.
Set it on fire.
Set it on fire. Because the funds belong to
Doesn't
us.
make any sense.
Belongs to Nigeria. You recovered it, then it should be used for Nigerians. Just like you said earlier, sent to Dangote or any refiner. By the way, we talked about allowing small licensing all these
modular
refineries. All these guys that steal the crude. Why not kind of bring them together
and form
train them
a
more?
Cooperative.
Yeah, come together, do a JV, a joint venture, upgrade them, assist them, let them set up something they can do at their small level and help the economy. That can also be an option instead of killings, burning and wasting everywhere.
All right, Fola Adiola heads task force on presidential petroleum reform and value optimization. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, has approved the establishment of a presidential petroleum reform and value optimization task force to design and sequence the next phase of structural reforms in Nigeria's petroleum sector. Mr. Fola Adiola, co-founder of Guarantee Trust Bank and founder and chairman of the Faith Foundation, is the task force chairman. As the chairman, he will coordinate the group's work and ensure the timely delivery of its mandate. As constituted, the task force is a time-bound, high-level executive working group tasked with producing execution-ready reform blueprints that will consolidate ongoing reforms. unlock capital within the petroleum sector, and strengthen Nigeria's position as a leading global energy investment destination. The initiative reflects the President's commitment to transforming Nigeria's petroleum industry into a more competitive, transparent, and value-maximizing sector capable of driving long-term economic growth, macroeconomic resilience, and industrial development. It will operate as a technical reform body rather than a representative committee, engaging industry operators, regulators, investors, and civil society as constituents, while focusing on actionable policy design and implementation strategies. You know, I don't know why we keep going round and round in circles. We have not been able to exhaust everything in the PIB. Now, the president is setting up another committee. Are we saying that we're going to see something that looks like PTF again? Because at the end of the day, it looks like something going towards that direction. I think that government needs to be more proactive. We have a bill that looks into the petroleum sector. And this bill, since it was formally signed into law, the NNPCL, so we changed the NNPC to NNPCL, has not survived. Up to today, no refinery is working. And yet, we have people that are employed, people are earning salaries, they're taking allowances, they're traveling abroad, they're doing a lot of turnaround maintenance, but the refineries are not working. And we keep asking, what is the way forward? So the government keeps going, one step forward, you take 20 steps backwards. I mean, this is not the time to be talking about a committee, because at the end of the day, you're going to finance this committee. And that is another wastage. So I think that what government should have done is to look at the institutions that are not working within the petroleum industry and scrap them. And then we know that NNPC is gone. Then we face the next phase of what do we do? Because as it is today, we are all relying on Dangote. And the federal government and the Nigerian people seem to forget that Dangote is a private business entity. And it will determine its price based on the profit it wants to make. And that's why petrol is selling for 1.3, 1.4, 1.2, depending on where you're buying from. Because NNPCL has become more of a moribund organization than an active one.
You see, we seem to wallow so much in, take delight so much in setting up committees, ad hoc committees, whatever you name it. In the end, any paper release or any recommendation is put on the shelf and never sees the light of the day. I think the president, being the minister for petroleum, should have, as a word go, done something about the sector. The last president, that's the late President Buhari, tried to. Well, we're told they were to privatize NNPC. I don't know how much of privatized entity it is right now, because I don't think they are really functioning as like a private or privatized entity. But you also referred to the issue of the petroleum industrial bill, which has not really seen the light of the day. Why don't you? So many recommendations have been made about what to do about the petroleum sector. Try and use some of those recommendations that have been made over the years, rather than setting up new ones. But well, what do I know? I'm just a radio presenter. I'm not a
talk man.
Talky person. They tell you that they have professors doing all these things. But I think we waste so much time trying to put up committees and not really acting on what we should act on.
I think some things are just common sense. You don't have to be a professor. You don't have to be a guru in the downstream sector or the upstream sector to understand these things. corruption is really dealing with us, because the fundamental question and the fundamental issue is this: why should a country like Nigeria that has crude oil
This is the largest producer of oil in the whole world.
imports refined petroleum products? Why don't we refine those things here? We used to have refineries in Warri.
4 of them, all moribund right now.
No one is working. Government upon government upon government, and no one could do anything about it. And yet, we are speaking English. That we're talking about. We're not serious. That is the problem. Now we have private refinery like Dangote working. If it is private companies that can do it, why don't we encourage private refineries to spring up here and there? And then NNPC will simply be a regulator. Remove their hands from
all this while NNPC
operation.
has been up in gloves with Dangote. They didn't want it to work.
Active operation, turning it from NNPC to NNPCL, making it a corporate company. It's not working. Let them just regulate and allow the private refineries to refine. We should have a deliberate policy that we want to stop fuel importation in 4 years' time, in 5 years' time, and then encourage business investment to take over whatever we have. We have to sell the refineries. Fine. We want to have shareholding opportunities with the government and them, or the private guys running it. Fine. Well, we must deliberately make efforts to stop importing refined products. We have the capacity. We can attract the expatriates where we lack them, but this must be the policy direction, and we must be serious about it for once.
Good. Moving on. MSC Group has signed a 45-year concession agreement with Niger to develop a container terminal at Snake Island Port in Lagos. The disclosure was contained in an official statement published on the shipping company's website on March 11, 2026. The company also finalized engineering, procurement, and construction EPC contracts with ITB Nigeria Limited and Dame Group for the project. The statement noted that this project forms part of MSC Group's broader investment of over $1 billion in Nigeria's infrastructure and logistics sector. MSC Group described the concession agreement as a key step in strengthening logistics infrastructure in Nigeria and across Africa. MSC invested more in container terminal at Snake Island in Lagos for 45 years. The concession has been given to them. Well, I hope this pans out well. This is the same shipping company that we've been talking about arbitrarily increasing their charges, and which a lot of freight forwarders such as your good selves protested against in January. I don't know if this is rewarding them for doing a good job, or is it another job for the boys or for the cronies of the government. I don't know what to say about it.
Interestingly, for me, it's not about whether they increase their charges or not. Two things have come out with this contract or this concession. One, people have said, oh, MSC has linked to Chagori. Yes, it's in the news, and people are saying, oh, President Bola Tinubu is rewarding his friend once more. On the other hand, mine is the fact that why is it that everybody's, focusing on developing in terms of the industry in Lagos? Why are they not moving out of Lagos? You have the Apapa, you have the Tinkan, you have the Lekki, now you're having another one. Why are they not moving out of Lagos? Why are we not opening our eyes to move this kind of businesses to other states? I remember, I remember vividly well, I read somewhere when the issue of moving Lagos as a capital to Abuja, they said, oh, it's because in case there's an external aggression, and that Lagos is too open because of the waters. Have we forgotten all of that? Seaports in other regions of this country are not working. I would appeal to government. Let us see how to open up paths so that other regions, I don't need to be a marketer in Onitsha. I have to come all the way to Lagos to clear my goods. And then moving the goods to the east is something you cannot even think about because there are no roads. The train networks are not working. So I'm using this opportunity to appeal, just like everybody has been appealing, the Nigerian Ports Authority, NIMASA, and the Nigerian government. Shipping lines, you guys should look beyond Lagos and let us see how we can really develop this industry to its fullest.
Okay, go on, Chief.
Okay, truth is, Lagos has its natural advantages when it comes to deep waters, and Lagos, unarguably, is the commercial nerve center of
The
Nigeria,
economic capital of Nigeria.
of even West Africa, and that is being consolidated. But that being said, for a country to be truly developed economically, it is only strategic and better that you spread this development. Nigerian business today is structured in a way that, do you know, I did this analysis and I found out that, and I want someone to contest this. You cannot be an international businessman in Nigeria today without having reference to Lagos. It is not possible. Because it is either you're flying through the Murtala Mohammed Airport in Lagos, or you are sourcing for foreign exchange from the banks, of which all the head offices are in Lagos, or your goods are coming in through the seaports in Lagos. And when you have to make these references to Lagos every now and then, at a point you see it is good that you have an office in Lagos. And when you have this office in Lagos to aid your logistics, before you know it, you begin to move your structure
down to Lagos.
And then before you know it, why do I have to fly to Lagos for this one? Let me temporarily relocate to Lagos. And when you move to Lagos yourself, and before you know it, your family comes with you, your dependents come, and then you settle in Lagos. And that's how Lagos keep, growing. It is time that we also look at the other ports, like you mentioned.
Decentralize things.
Yes, not just in Calabar. You have wonderful deep sea port in Calabar. The one we have in One is functioning, but it's not in that capacity.
It's a river port.
It's a river port. So even in the north, we could have some waters. We could channel, through the rail lines, or deliberately develop that area. We can even make it. Okay, we have six regions in Nigeria. Why can't we deliberately sit down and find out how we can economically, make smaller hubs? Of course, Lagos can still be the lead hub for trade, but other places should be. So people don't have to come to Lagos when they want to make their international businesses.
Well, actually, there are inland container terminals, but they are not really developed, like you said.
How many containers go there?
That's what we are talking about.
What's the volume of transactions that go there?
Yes, this is VOP 90.3, and the program has been Maritime and Border Show. We've been talking about our news for the week, the things that held sway during the week. Now we're going to go into proper, the topic for today. And with us, I said I was going to introduce him when we are ready. Our guest, who has been speaking since, is no other person than Chief Afam Chukwuma. Yeah. You're welcome, sir, formally. You're welcome to the show. So we're going to kickstart with questions, and we're going to be focusing on the National Single Window Project. All right, so all those who are waiting and, I'm going to throw the first one. You were at the last, a lot of questions were raised.
That took place on Thursday.
A lot of questions were raised, and some of the questions were centered on who bears the brunt if there's a glitch in the system of, in the working architecture of the national single window.
I would like to approach this question in two ways. One is what it should be, and the other one is what is.
Okay.
And I will take a cue from the experiences of similar programs that were deployed. Maybe not by the National Single Window Project Committee, maybe by the Customs, for instance. When Beodogu was launched, maybe Asikuda and other digital platforms. Of course, it's expected that there will be teething problem. It's natural that when you deploy a new system, for some time, that's why they do it in phase by phase, so that you don't have to choke the entire space. But within that period, you have those glitches, there will be delays, and these delays will transform to demorages, extra cost for the owners of the cargo and maybe their freight forwarders. So who pays? That's the question. Ordinarily, you would expect that the people launching the program on the government side, they should either go into agreement with the liners, like the shipping companies and the terminal operating companies, that look, we want to launch this program, and we expect as a new program that there be delays. We are requesting that there should be 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or 20, 21 days automatic waiver for so period. No demorages for this period, just because of this program as a support, so that we'll run at this phase. But has that happened? Or is that happening? That's a question. But at the end of the day, the shipping companies will be happy that there are delays, and they will happily pass the bulk to the owners of the cargo, the importers. And then when you confront them, they will say, it is the normal language, it is not our fault. And then you pass it to the importers, and the importer gets his goods because he has to take his goods. And when he pays, he gets to his shop and he makes his calculation. His landing cost has increased from what it used to be. And what happens? He transfers this back into the cost of sale, and ultimately it goes back to the people, and the cycle of inflation continues. So my advice would be, the National Single Window Committee should, pool agreement with the shipping and terminal company from March 27th, when they want to launch this program, to whenever is it 21 days, that there should be free storage, free demurrage for maybe a month, or whenever they think they should get this thing stable.
Okay. In the course of the week, in the course of that same sensitization, which we read out, it was said that the National Single Window does not intend to replace agencies. And you know that when it comes to clearing and forwarding, when it comes to the customs, you have the Nigerian police, you have the anti-bomb, you have the DSS, you have the NDLE, you have SUN, you have NAFDAC. Now, saying that they have not come to replace them, but then they're trying to put them under the same distance. The question I'm also going to ask you is this. If by the action of one of these agencies, the job does not get done, what would you recommend to be done to that agency?
Like I always tell my staff and those that work with me, our industry is a place that there is nothing like it's a mistake. Because every mistake, every error has a financial consequence. That's the truth. So if delay happens and you trace it to a particular agency, it boils down to even the question one: if it's happening within this period, that we have, if they're able to secure that grace period from the terminal and shipping company, because that is the ultimate thing, demurrage. that will happen, then it's fine. But if if the system eventually gets okay, everybody should be fine. But in the question that you are asking, even now it happens. Even with that national single window platforms, we've had delays at times, even from the shipping company themselves. When they do have their own downtime at times. Of course, they may give you one. Even when shipping company gives you 2-3 days waiver because of their own error. What of the terminal company? Because it's two-way, terminal and shipping. Do they give? So we've had in Nigeria where they do what they like and there is no consequence, because the shippers council are supposed to rise and say no, this is not the fault of the importers or their freight forwarders. You have to bear this cost. They are nowhere to be found when it comes to defending us. Of course, they do once in a while, but how many petitions can they even handle? So it's something that really needs to be streamlined. If this happen, who will bear? Ideally, whoever is responsible is supposed to bear. But would they bear? That's another thing. What would the Shippers Council do?
Okay, so I have a question. We all know at that meeting, at that sensitization, some stakeholders were saying that it's going to be a killing field for the shipping companies and terminal operators for probably the first few weeks or the first few months because of the anticipated glitches, Now, don't you think that there might also be internal sabotage that could encourage those glitches to be there for this thing not to work? Because on the part of the shipping companies and terminal operators, it will favor them because of obviously container deposits and storage charges that you'll have to pay. The demurrage. Secondly, the agencies of government who will be involved in, obviously, this NCW, National Single Window, will take away the human interface aspect of documentation, having to meet people physically. And of course, we know that in Nigeria, when you meet people physically to do documentation, certain things, there are gratifications you need to part with. Don't you think there will be internal sabotage? And when it is, how prepared do you think the National Single Window project is to handle all this?
I am not in the best position to answer this question because this same question was put forward to the man who is in charge of
Mr. Fakolade.
Yes, and he made us to understand that the National Single Window is under the presidency.
The presidency, yeah. The president is the one in charge.
He's just the driver, the coordinator of the project committee head. But of course, they report ultimately to
the
presidency. So they will take that back to the presidency and probably get back to us. But my suggestion clearly, whether there is sabotage or there is no sabotage, if they can get that deal from the Terminal and Shipping Company that from 27th of March till maybe end of April or 3 weeks from that day, let there be free storage
waivers
and free detention. I think that we
take care of that.
That will take care of that. Okay. That's the best deal they could do, because even if you say they should pay, the process of confirming the payment, the administration and accounting that will go into, you write letter, submit, let us verify, and then we provide account number, we process payment with all the stringent protocols around payment system. I mean, that's gonna be a long thing. You may even, if at all you get the refund, because they will ask you to pay first, then apply for refund.
Much later.
Maybe it may take another 1 year or 2 years or whenever to
get
a
refund.
If at all you get. So it's better they just
do a
work
waiver
with the shipping company to get waiver for a reasonable time for people to operate. Then when they are stable, everything will be fine.
My second question is this: the definition by locally where the project people of the National Single Window, according to what I saw, is the National Single Window is a federal government initiative to streamline trade processes by creating a centralized electronic platform for importers and exporters. It is a digital trade facilitation platform expected to accelerate economic growth and facilitate cross-border transactions. My point here is this: it talks about created by as a centralized electronic platform for importers and exporters. As at a few days ago, I was still speaking with some, I act as a media person to some importers, and they are complaining about not being carried along, as in being sensitized about what this national single window is all about. Why do you think so? They are just talking about freight forwarders such as your good self and probably other stakeholders. They are not talking to the importers, who are the main people that this thing is targeted at.
I'm not holding brief for the committee, but I know for us freight forwarders and for practitioners like us, maybe the agents, and there's a lot of sensitization going on. Truly, to be fair to them, even before now, Tola himself has visited Magaf village many times.
Okay.
I'm sure he has done so with Anelka and perhaps sister agencies and all that. I don't see why they should not also visit the market unions and their associations, the importers unions, if they have organized platform that they can interact. I don't see why they should not do that. The Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, for instance, are not left out of this. They are also very critical stakeholders. So I don't have that brief to say they have not done that or they've done it. But if they have not done that, it's important they do that, because the exporters themselves, the importers, who the freight forwarders represent in carrying out the business, are very critical. But again, you know that majority of these importers and exporters rely on their agents and freight forwarders to carry out their businesses. So, and especially when this has nothing to do with costs per se, they may not really be bothered about it. If it's something that will bring additional cost to them, apart from the demurrage thing we had discussed earlier, they will be agitated to know, because that will be passed to them. So they want to know exactly what's going on. But if this is just an administrative process, or a digital platform, as we all know it to be, to unify information, to make the work easier and faster even, then it's something that really concerns the professionals who would use these tools ultimately, which are the freight forwarders and the government agencies. Of course, importers are there, like I said, but most of them don't really
engage themselves in these documentation processes.
They give it out to the freight forwarders to handle.
But there are certain aspects, because I've seen the design of the portal, there are certain aspects of it that requires input from the importers or information about the importer. So don't you think that also makes them very important people to, because ultimately they are the ones paying the money that is going into these different agencies. They are the ones that people such as yourself represent. They should be carried along totally.
I agree 100% that they should be carried along. 100%. If they decide to outsource the logistics aspect of their business to freight forwarders to handle, it is in their prerogatives. Because I know a few companies that also retain import seats in their own company and have their own staff do let's say the Form M's, the PAR, documentation, and then when they get the PAR, they now ask their freight forwarder to take it off at that point, generate the customs assessment, and send to them to pay the duty, which is what it should be, by the way. But I'm telling you clearly, as a practitioner, there are many outsource everything completely to freight forwarding companies that they trust they can work with, including their passwords, to access the system. Yeah, I understand, including passwords to access the system. Because it's not, like I said, it's, as long as it's not any financial risk to them, it's not going to make the bank. It's not going to collect money in their bank or put money in their bank. It's just about documentation for import and export. So they say, okay, since you're a freight forwarder, why not you take care of this? Let us just know what's going on, and they just wait for report. But that does not exclude or justify the fact that they should not be sensitized by the national single window drivers. That's not a case for it. But if they have not been carried along, I don't have that brief, like I said, whether they have done that or not. Except we speak to Tola and his group to tell us why they have not done that, if people are feigning ignorance in that regard.
Okay, my other question is this. Mr. Fakolade, that's Tola Fakolade, the driver, the director of the National Single Window Project. On that, they said that, we also read it out here, that the Bodogu and the National Single Window will run side by side. Wouldn't there be any kind of, duplication of a function, or one being subsumed? Or don't you think the two, one should be stepped down for the other? It's because it's basically like doing the same thing with the same different platform, is it not?
Yeah, the job of the national single window is to unify all the systems. For international trade to happen, there are multiplicity of agencies involved. Customs Bodogu is for customs. NAFDAC, they have a system you call PIDCAMS. And you go to Standard Organization of Nigeria, they have their own platforms.
Okay.
The same thing with the Navy. Don't forget the Navy is there, because the law requires every vessel coming to Nigeria to transmit their manifest at least 10 working days before you touch Nigerian waters. And when that is not done, by law, the Navy is empowered to block off that vessel. So if your manifest is not transmitted, the Navy can block you off, including the NIMASA too. The NIMASA is there also, NPA is there. So what National Single Window is coming to do is to now serve as coordinator, connecting all of these agencies, so that information is transmitted once by whoever is the stakeholder. The shipping company just transmitted to the National Single Window platform, and from there, it is distributed to every relevant agency supposed to go to, or they pick it from there. That's basically what it is doing, to unify the process, to simplify it, to make it easier, so that the freight forwarders and the logistics professionals who are supposed to run to all of these various agencies to get information and synchronize the documentation just have to also log in and pick their information. So because the information is already with the agency, you don't need to bother yourself running around. So that is essentially what it is. But coming to the point you raised about whether it can interact with Bodogu, what they said is that Bodogu will still do the core customs job, while Single Window does the coordination of all agencies. But personally, analyzing all of this, I see a situation whereby the National Single Window is just softly entering. If it comes in to take customs job, it may cause chaos. It may not be received well. So they want to do the coordination first.
Little by little.
Little by little. And
let's test the grounds.
Yeah, and if it's fine with time, there will be further deepening into other jobs. After all, there is a revenue. What's the new law again? About revenue collection.
NRS.
Yeah. National Revenue Service.
Yeah.
That is supposed to now be collecting revenue instead of customs. And when you remove customs from collecting revenue, what's the job again?
Standard reporter.
So what time will come when they will also integrate NRS into collecting custom duties, and that's Lobato.
All right. Like we kept saying, this is VOP 90.3, and that's the Maritime and Border Show. And we always say it's interactive. It is now time for us to open up our studio lines for you to, join in, give us your own views. If you have your questions, you bring them forward. Our lines are 0700 903 903 903.
You can also reach us on 081 717 56338.
0803692 9933. You can send us a WhatsApp message on 081 717 56338.
We have Chief Afam Chukuma on the show as our guest.
I have our first caller already. People are not even smiling.
Yeah, good day.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, my name is Leonard from Yaba.
All right, so welcome to the show, sir.
Yeah, thanks to Laka. I don't know how I get to you. Yeah, I need some directions from She of Sports. It's right here, son.
Okay, no problem. I'll get across to you. Don't worry about that.
This my love.
Don't you have any questions for us or the guests?
No, I want to have an in-depth knowledge before I start asking questions.
In-depth knowledge of the program or in-depth knowledge of
The maritime sector.
The issue of the Nimasa thing, man. I'm simply a commercial person. Commercial person, like buying and selling.
All right, no problem. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Thank you very much.
All right, he wants an in-depth information. It doesn't come for free. All right, let's. You just pinched where I was actually heading to, because I know the fear that everybody is expressing, and that is the fear of what the BODOGO wants to achieve. Just hold on 1 minute. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hello.
Good afternoon. We can hear you.
Most.
We can hear
So I know you. Hello.
Yes,
Yeah, go on ahead. We can hear you. Your name and where you're calling in from.
I'm Wale from Solere.
Okay, go ahead.
Wale.
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
When you guys are talking about NNPC the other time, that is just the same thing I was talking to my neighbor of recent in my house. I was trying to tell my neighbor that what. Hello.
Go
Go on
ahead.
ahead. We can hear you.
Yeah, I was trying to ask my neighbor what is the work of NNPC when they cannot do anything. We have 4 in refinery. None of them is working. Why can't federal government scrap them out or sell the refinery to private sectors and talk to them with a straightforward? So let me know that okay, we don't have refineries anymore in Nigerians. They will be collecting our food or whatever thing from Dangote. It's simple. Because paying people, paying NNPC salary, paying their bills, paying everything, then what is their work when the refinery is not working? So any marketer that needs to go and buy something in NNPC, they should go to they should go to Dangote and buy whatever they want to buy there.
All right. I'm
That's
sure the
what
government is hearing
Yeah,
you.
but we also have to be careful.
Go ahead.
We also have to be careful here not to play into monopoly. Why we are not saying Dangote all the way, or let it be private refineries, so that there can be a little bit of competition to allow price determination by the market
Hello,
forces.
good afternoon. Your name and where you're calling from, please.
Okay, my name is Emeka. I'm calling from Guru.
Hello, can you speak up? We're here with you.
I say I'm calling from Ikorodu. My name is Emeka.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Okay. I want to talk about port authority. You see, anytime they talk about development of ports, if they make sure you like East port, it be like it's giving for people mouth to say. And the majority of people who import goods for Nigeria here is an Igbo people. Why they not go open that port for them to import something there? Okay, look at Oti now. Oti want to open the cargo airport, and they refuse. Anytime they measure anything concerned Igbo people something, it be like it's bitter for their mouth, or it's bitter for their heart, or it's bitter for I don't understand what Igbo people do them for this country. And the Igbo people is the engine room of this country.
Okay.
Why them
Okay.
not open that?
Okay, sir. Thank you for your call. Yes. It's not about Igbo. It's not about Hausa. It's about Nigeria. And when people come and with this narrative of Igbo, I keep asking myself, you made mention that Oti wants to open a cargo airport. The cargo airport in Owerri, how well has it been used?
The one in Enugu too, by the federal government.
The one in Enugu is supposed to be an international airport.
Yes, it's an
airport. How well has it been
Akanibiam.
used? So I think when you call to a show, a program, let us, remove this whole mindset of Igbo. Everybody, in every structure of Nigeria economy, you have importers.
Yeah.
And it's not just an Igbo business affair.
For me,
Sorry. Hello, good afternoon. Your name and where you're calling from. Hello. Hello, sir. All right, Dilly, go on.
For me, what I want to say is that we have 8 states, about 8 or 9 states in the country that are littoral states, along the coast, the Atlantic coast. 2 or 3 states governments can come together and say, let's develop a deep sea port aside from Lagos State. The Lekki Deep Sea Port is a federal government, Lagos State, and private partnership investment. They can also do that. Before the Lekki Deep Sea Port started, Akwa Ibom started their own, but it's still in the. They've not done much of anything.
Hello, good
about
afternoon.
it.
Okay, it's gone off.
So,
God.
sometimes you also need people to use their initiatives. Governments from those areas or individuals who are rich enough from those areas invest in this.
Hello, good afternoon. Hello.
I'm quite sure the Delta State government.
Hello, good afternoon. Your name and where you're calling from, please.
A deep sea port in Delta State.
Hello.
Yeah. We're having problems with
I think we have a problem with
the lines.
The lines.
Dilly, let me even
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome.
Hello, good afternoon, Chidaka.
Your name and where you're calling from, please, sir.
My name is Sunday Uzawuru. I'm calling from Elata.
You're welcome. Go ahead, sir.
Please, I just want to talk 2 points. The last caller, sir, he talked about Igbo people. They wanted to defend Nigeria, and this is Igbo Maka, this is not Igbo, this is Nigeria. You mentioned Cargo Enugu, Cargo Wale. Nigerian government as a country, make sure that we're not working. I don't want to go that side because we cannot defend Nigeria. Don't defend Nigeria. Nigeria is a lie. Don't defend.
All right, when you call onto a radio station and you want to get this sentimental, please make sure you have your facts handy. I don't believe that this show is for people who are sentimental. We're talking about Nigeria. We're talking about developing the maritime and blue economy. We're not talking about developing Imo State or Anambra State. You have governors there. Go and hold them accountable. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the show. Your name and where you're calling from, please.
Hello, good afternoon. Shiraka.
Afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. I did the guest in the
Is Chief.
Well done the job, sir. I'm fine.
All right.
You are doing a great job for the masses.
Well, thank you, sir.
Thank you for linking every information. Thank you. This is what I want to contribute. Because when we are talking about the refinery and the scarcity of the crude, we Nigerians, we understand what is happening in the country. That God give us everything we want as a mineral resources in this country. But the little set of people are cheating us on these resources and turning it to their own weight. No problem. I just want to say something about this Dangote. Everybody has been saying. Me, I did not have money, but I cannot accept that Dangote has money more than me, because this is a monopoly to the masses. Because Dangote now, he was the only one that is selling rice. He was the only one that is selling sugar. At the high price, he is reducing it for the masses. But now, it is being claiming as number 1 in the whole Africa. I'm a bona citizen of this country. Buying last, it is something. If Dangote notice that he is the only one in this country, reduce all this to what masses can buy. And he said he has money. He did not have money more than me. I don't know what to say to everybody. He doesn't have money more than me. He doesn't have money more than me.
The issue I was raising regarding the littoral states also having their own port.
Wealth is perception. So if you say you're rich, you're rich.
Exactly. That's true.
So what exactly is the job of all these regional commissions that have been signed into law?
Okay.
There is
Northeast,
Southeast. I think virtually all the regions now have their commissions.
So hello, good afternoon. Your name and where you're calling from, please. Hello, sir. Your name and where you're calling from.
Yeah, my name is Chukwemeka. I'm out with VOP.
This is VOP 90.3 FM.
Where are you calling in from?
I'm calling from First Park. I'm out of state.
All right, make your contribution, sir.
Hello?
Go on ahead, we can hear you. You are on VOP 90.3 FM.
I think the network is getting worse, but you
were talking about one or two governors coming together. I'm saying there's already an existing platform for that. Either you have
the Southeast Development Commission, Southside Development Commission, Southwest Development
Northeast, and all that. So why don't they leverage on these commissions to do all of these things?
Okay, so now that you're talking about, let me ask you: have you had an opportunity to look at the last year budget and this year's budget of the Southeast Development Commission? It's a disaster. You should go and look at it. So sometimes we keep blaming the government at the top, but those ones below seem to be worse off. So, but for me, talking about developing the seaports, first and foremost, is the core responsibility of the federal government. Other states can start, but they need the federal government. They need the might of the federal government. Now, I ask a question.
I think that has been deliberalized.
And this question I'm going to ask, I ask with a good conscience, and I hope that His Excellency the Governor of Akwa Ibom State is listening. When you were decamping to APC, you promised us that it was to fast track the
completion of the Ibom Deep Sea Port.
Yes. Up to today, we haven't heard anything. Your Excellency, what has happened to that project? Is it that you've gone into APC and you found out that
sleeping?
you took some tablets that is making you sleep, or is it that what you had in mind is no longer working? Akwa Ibom people are waiting. Nigerians are waiting. We can't wait forever. Please, Your Excellency, we want to know what is happening to that project.
Sir, you are weighing in on it.
I want to believe that if these regional development commissions can put their might together and say, as a region, we want to pursue this project that we enhance the economy of our region. All the governors come together, all the senators, all the people, they have the voices, the strong voices in those commissions. If they come together and push and now require federal government's assistance, it will be difficult for the federal government to stand against. They can hold for some time, but they cannot hold it for a very long time.
Okay.
It's what most Nigerians have.
To add to what you said, it's a good thing about these regional commissions. Now, if you have state governors, you have regional commissions, you also have your honorable members and your senators embarking on constituency projects. Is that not waste of resources?
Well, I'm talking about life-changing projects.
Yeah,
big projects, such as projects that, as a senator, it's not a constituency.
No, what I'm trying to say is
it's not to go and do borehole and commission to kilometer roads.
So what I'm saying is that why don't we cut all these excesses? Why don't we move the money meant for this constituency projects into these commissions? Is that not a way of saving money? Is that not a way of doing the things the right way? Because you can't have everybody working at the same time.
I think you should even ask in the first place, is it even legitimate? Those money they appropriate for themselves as constituency projects. Is that what the law says, that people who are making law should also have money to execute projects?
I mean, it's
is that what our constitution says?
Probably they want the constituents to feel the impact of their being in the national.
No, it is not why they
are impact of their contribution when they make good laws, not the laws that will serve them, but the laws that will serve the collective people of Nigeria.
That is why we are calling that this whole thing about voice vote needs to end. It's not about building any borehole and you put your picture there. Yeah. You're using the money of the Nigerian people to build a borehole and you're commissioning it with Nigerian people's money and you're putting your picture there. Why do we keep going round and round in circles? Why are we not thinking about developing this country for goodness sake?
Sir, I wanted to make a small point about.
What I want, let me
okay, go on.
I was going to say, let me even use Southeast Development Commission for instance.
Okay.
With reference to what you said about the budget. What is it possible for them, as the governors in the Southeast under this commission now, to come together?
Hello,
and say,
good afternoon.
Hello, Priscilla. Good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon, sir. Your name and where you're calling from, sir?
My name is Robert, Mr. Ucholi. Good afternoon.
Yeah, Chief Robert.
what I want to say is that, sir, I think the government is just looking at one direction of developing this country. That is the oil sector. By building maybe Nigerians rather, by building refineries to maybe other states so that like we have 4 refineries before. I am telling you, if this not this government, the government of Nigeria, that is why any subsequent one can come and build seaports in almost Nigerian states, especially the ones that are very close to the Danai area, it will develop this country, and it is going to make the price of goods very cheap. Imagine you centralize one port here in Lagos now, Apapa port here in Lagos. The cost of shipping goods from abroad here, then clearing it at the port, then you now transport it back to where these things are needed, maybe to the east. You just imagine the cost of transporting it alone. And when the people that have put it on the goods that we consumers will buy, it will go up. Why can't you dualize this port? You have one in here, you put maybe 2 in the east or 3, some in Warri, other one in Port Harcourt and in the north. Yeah, I mean, things will flow. People will not be depending on these things they are not. It's not something that is not realizable. Only that some people they just don't want this economy to work. Let's put it that way. That is the truth. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So, sir, make your point, sir.
So I was saying it is possible, for instance, for the Southeast governors to come together under the Southeast Development Commission and build a rail lines system that will connect the entire Southeast.
Good.
It is possible for them to come together and build an international cargo airport of world-class standard that can match any airport in Africa or in the world. Not even what we have in Murtala Mohammed in Lagos. You can do that and then have flights, commercial flights, come there, taking advantage of the strength of your people or the peculiarities of your area. Okay? These lights we are talking about, all these electricity problems we're having, why must we have national grid that is not working? Why don't we have regional grids and generate power according to what you have in your area? There are so many means of generating power, for instance. It must not be hydro, it must not be gas. Enugu, for instance, has coal. Sunshine States, Ondo, they have a lot of solar they can trap. In New Zealand, in Australia, solar is the main source of their power. Those that have gas can use gas. People that have water can use hydro. Why must you centralize this thing and put everybody in darkness? So I want to believe that this should be the essence of creating all these regions so that they can tackle their peculiar problems in their area and we can all develop. But again, the will of the leaders of these areas to come together and act in unison in these areas is another thing we talked about.
Your point. You know,
hello, please. Sorry, let me just say something. Sorry, sir.
Is that
this Governor Oti in Abia State that is performing wonders now? Is that man from heaven? That Oti in Abia State, before they sign electricity bill into law that give any independent body or state to generate power. That man have that plan. But look at the way that is that man from heaven. Is he not a human being like other Nigerians? But he decide that Abia State must work. Let other states look at the money the government is giving them. Why can't they, copy that man and, do what that man is doing in order? Do you think Nigeria will have problem? People just, you see, sometimes if I think of this country, I don't just know what to do, honestly. It pains me. Eh?
Please, sir, protect your mental health.
Yes, protect your mental health, please. don't let it get to you to the point of breaking down. So, sir, I marveled at the fact that in the First Republic we had ruling plans.
Hello, good afternoon. Your name and where you're calling from, please. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon, sir. Your name?
My name is Chidi. I'm calling from Okota.
Okay, sir.
Lagos State.
Go ahead, sir.
You see, the problem that we're having in the Southeast is that our governors are not united. That's the number one problem that we're having. Are you hearing me?
We're hearing you,
Go
sir.
on ahead.
Okay. And everything should not be blamed on the federal government, Turumbu and Ababu and Domike. We have governors in the Southeast, which if they come together and they demand what the citizens of that area have been crying for strongly from the federal government, it should have been done before now. Very important thing like, the seaport that we are crying for is something that, an individual can stand up and do it from the Southeast. But they don't have the mind. So that thing is spending me, I don't know what to do. Everything is not from the, there is something that, the governments will stand for. Then, they will stand and do on their own. Federal government will not be able to stop them. You understand me? Because all of us are the citizens of this country. That seaport has been a very big trouble for us in the Southeast. But our governors are not ready to even, do anything about it. I don't know what is going on. The problem is our governors, it's not the federal government.
All right, sir.
Let me remind my brother just spoke that there is what you call exclusive list.
Exactly.
There's exclusive list, there is concurrent list, and there is residual list. These are federal government gazetted. Items on exclusive list are items that solely belongs to the federal government, that the states cannot do anything. So, and this water we spoke about, this seaports, because it has to do with international correspondence, it has to do with the security, everything coming outside the country comes through there. Federal government cannot negotiate defense with any state.
Good afternoon. Yes, good afternoon. Your name and where you're calling
from. Yeah, apologies for that. I'm away from the radio. Am I clear now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go on ahead. Your name and where you're calling him from.
Okay, so this you're just talking about an exclusive list, right?
What's your name and where are you calling him from?
My name is Chinedu. I'm calling from Obetemeta.
Okay. Go on.
Okay, so you just spoke about exclusive list and concurrent list.
Yeah.
Listen, we don't have to use terminologies and then what we call Turenchi and Beke and Oyibo to try to dance around the main point.
It's talking about what the law says. It's talking about the law.
The truth of the matter is, why must we beg? We say we are all equals. We are all citizens of Nigeria. Why must the Southeast? This has been the issue that probably we've faced since the end of kinetic hostility of the Nigerian Biafra War. Why must the Southeast governors or the Southeast region or the now defunct Old Eastern region beg to have a seaport or a functional seaport? As far as I even want to ask, the Onitsha is a water body. Onitsha is a water body. I'm quite sure Onitsha can be dredged and a seaport. And Onitsha, there are some water bodies even along the eastern region, from Port Harcourt to Warri to what have you, all the way to Calabar and Akwa. These were the former that made now the old defunct eastern region. Lagos has a very functional seaport in the southwest, in the former western region. So why must it be an issue that to have a functional seaport that can even compete with Lagos? Why must that be an issue? And then they come under the guise of concurrent list and exclusive list and all whatnot. And then people will now complain when agitation spring up. Why must it be so? That's what I want to know. Why must it be so? Why must this issue of having a seaport and a functional airport be something that they always want to use politics and power from the center to try to subdue? Why must it be so? That's what I want to know. Good afternoon once again.
All right, thank you very much. You've asked very pertinent questions, but I'll say this. All our governors have been decamping to APC because they want to get close to the center. So I'm sure that these are one of the reasons why they're doing all this decamping, so that they can be able to get to the center and to drag the center to their states.
Exactly.
Frank,
we're talking about national development.
Yes.
Francis, are you trying to be a little bit cheeky there? I mean,
but that's the truth.
It's everyone should jump into the.
No, I am not the one saying they should jump. They have all been jumping already. And the excuse they are giving you is that they want to be close to the center.
Exactly.
So if you are close to the center, it means you can drag the center.
They want to connect to the source.
They want to connect. So if you connect to the source.
Well, that's like jumping to the center has been happening for the past 2 years.
Akwa Ibom said it's going to give us the deep seaport.
Yeah, they are connecting
to the
yes. But we're still waiting.
We are waiting for
he has connected.
They started the seaport before they started Lekki, and it has not become a reality. The man said he's going there so that the thing will become a reality. I mean,
hello, good afternoon. Your name and where you're calling from, please.
Hello, Prince.
Yes, good afternoon, sir.
Well done, sir. Well done, sir. It's me, Comrade Iroko. I cover just some seconds, please. Prince Ilaka, I love your voice. Your voice, it sounds like Mr. Peter Obi's voice. And I won't be able to wait for that man to be a president of people. I want to be hearing this sort of voice, to be interpreting voice for me on radio every day. You understand? I don't want to blame all these people that are cheating us, sir. I want to blame the Nigerians that know their right and will resist to wake up from their slumber. All these things you are saying, all the learned ones in this country, they understand what is going on in this country and they refuse. It's only you people that are helping us on the media that is even helping us. I could remember some years back, people stand up for protesting. We will see vulnerable people at the front of protest. They are helping the masses. But now, the woman in the market that is selling paper, he doesn't know what we are saying on radio now. He doesn't even understand. Even all these things we are interpreting, they don't understand. And how do you want them to understand what is going on in the country? How many are we? How many are the vulnerable? How many people are the understanding people in this country? If not the learned ones, like lawyers, activists, and all these human rights. If they rise up, you will rise up and join them now. But if me, ordinary tout in the street, if I stand up now, they will start shooting me. Even people will say it's a tout.
No, hold on, sir.
Let us know what to do. He's getting too much. Okay,
sir,
hold on. Last week.
Hello, sir.
Okay, sir.
I totally disagree with you. Change starts with you.
Yeah, everybody.
That's what we're saying. Go out there, educate people on their rights. Educate people for them to go and get their voters card. Educate people to vote the right people into power. That is what you are.
I understand you, sir.
You have a lot to contribute. Don't call yourself a common child.
Yes, sir. That is why we always call on radio to express our feelings. But now, not everybody that understands this. Okay, see, last week you heard that 20 of our military were killed by this insurgency. Our own military, they were killed. Why they want to receive some people from these bandits? They even killed those armies. So who are there to guide us now when they are killing army? And you want me to be less-minded that I'm safe? Nigeria, we are not safe. We are not safe. I can tell you, if you check your documentary very well, you will see that Antelope has never had rest in the bush. If you can check, yes, Antelope, he has never had rest in the masses in this country did not have their sense. They will never have rest, so otherwise we should know what to do on time. Right, it's getting so long.
Thank you
very much. Sir, we are running out of time. Could you finish your thoughts, please, that you were trying to express about the issue of the what the law says about exclusive lists, the concurrent list, the residual list. And
so before you go, somebody has been on the line. I've just been keeping him waiting. Hello, good afternoon. Your name and where you're calling from, please.
Hello.
Hello.
This is Madam Florence.
Madam, good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
From, Madam?
The fact is that Nigeria, they don't want Nigeria to work. They want a situation where we'll be begging them to eat. So that in this election time like this, they'll be giving us bags of rice and 5,000 naira so that we will vote for them. Because by the time they know that we are independent, we'll be able to do things by ourselves and get money. So that's it. They don't want Nigeria to work.
Okay, madam. If they were giving a bag of rice, it will make sense, but they don't give a bag of rice.
Only 2 kg, 5 kg.
All right, sir, go ahead. We have less than 4 minutes to go. So, could you just give us your summary?
Yeah, I was talking about the list.
Yes.
And it is a place that we need to do a lot of job. See, Nigeria cannot work with this over-centralization of power.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts and that's my belief.
Most Nigerians agree with that.
It cannot work.
Yeah.
The federal government needs to deliberately restructure the country in such a way that the regions, the states will have much more power, especially on the economy. Of course, federal government should keep the defense and currency and monetary flows and all that. But why can't states be able to do airports? States be able to do rails. States should be able to handle electricity. All these things, they should move it from the exclusive list to the concurrent list. Of course, federal government can also handle up to just the way they've allowed states to do in education. They can do tertiary institutions. So why can't states handle most of these things? But the way it is now, I still believe that if state governments can come together under their commission that has been created, they can push. If they push, let federal government say, no, we are not going to support you. We are not going to license your area to do this. I don't think that can happen. If it happen, if they hold it for some time with the pressure and appeal and all that, it will be approved. So that's the point I was trying to make. So the woman raised something. Last speaker.
They give you a bag of rice, and they use it to, remotely dictate to you who to vote, and it's more like saying poverty.
Weaponized, they've weaponized poverty. That's what she's trying to. The point she's trying to make.
That's rather unfortunate. I think I share in her thoughts. Actually, I share in her thoughts. Well, our politicians have mastered the game of coming to the people when it is time for election and give them handful of one or two things and then get their votes. Is there not also vote buying and vote inducement? But then, when you are poor, it affects the way you think. It affects the way you view things. You are not able to stand on your own and reason. And it's something the politicians understand from time immemorial. And I'll be using it effectively as a tool against the masses. Maybe, is that not why they're not, creating jobs and providing opportunities? Why can't we have constant electricity power in Nigeria so that people can do their small-scale businesses and small-scale jobs and be a little bit independent and reason well and feed well? These are things that should happen.
Well, when people are independent, when people are financially free, or they cannot be controlled.
When people are financially free, they can reason properly and they can contribute effectively.
We don't have time. We don't have time.
They can control.
Dilly, we don't have time. We don't have time. Go on.
All right. This is the Maritime and Border Show on VOP 90.3 FM. Of course, this program is open for sponsorship. And of course, you can call me, Dele Utomi, on 0802 7590 195.
081 2111 8789. It's been a wonderful afternoon. We had with us Chief Afam Chukwuma and my brother here, Dele Utomi.